They're calling it a modern-day spiritual revival. Generation Z, particularly men, are going to church. It's a part of a new faith resurgence. And in the UK, there's been a major spiritual U-turn. New data by the Quiet Revival reveals that church attendance of 18 to 24-year-olds has risen by 16%. That's quite a lot. And in the US, Generation Z officially attends church more than any other generation. One man who is helping to lead that change is Gen Z influencer Bo Loudon, and he joins me now. Bo, good evening. Thank you for joining me. Now that I'm talking to an American, do I have to say Generation Z, or will you forgive me if I still call you Generation Z with my British accent? Now, listen, it's a fascinating phenomenon, this, isn't it? And was it happening before the death of Charlie Kirk, or has that been a significant catalyst?
Yes, ma'am. You know, it's been unprecedented. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I have so many friends reaching out, telling me that they've gone to church for the first time in years, or friends I've really worked on and tried to get to come around and just, you know, haven't been able to. And, you know, like President Trump said just a few hours ago, if you have a country without God, it's not going to go too well, and it's not going to be much of a country. So I think this has been a massive revival for Gen Z. And like you guys talked about earlier, Barna released that study showing that this is the most church-attending generation ever in America. So it's been massive, and Charlie had a massive impact on that because of his faith and that being the core thing he wanted to be remembered for.
But even before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, there was something going on, Bo, across the world, and I think particularly in the UK and America, and maybe that's just because they're the two countries I know best, which was a sort of dearth of meaning in the lives of young men. They came through this bizarre pandemic time where the government took their freedoms away. They either weren't allowed to go to school or they weren't allowed to see their friends, and it's incredibly destabilizing for that generation. And so is the motivation to just cling on to something that gives them meaning and a deeper sense of purpose when they wake up in the morning?
Yes, ma'am, 1,000%. You know, when they give us these medications that are these antidepressants that are supposed to make us happier and don't, or they indoctrinate us with all these, you know, LGBTQ ideologies or whatever it may be, things that just make us more depressed, that plague our mind and ruin our lives and put us in the worst possible mental state. The only escape that my generation's able to find out of that has been God and Jesus Christ. You know, and we've had massive Gen Z leaders like Cliff and Stuart Conneckley who have done this similar work to Charlie Kirk. You know, toured college campuses and talked to people about it and changed minds, and then put it out there on social media for millions and millions to see, kids of my generation. And we have so many leaders like this now. Charlie was one big one, and then Cliff and Stuart and people like that as well. We have Pastor Ben Graham as well. He's going out and leading a spiritual charge in the U.S., and they're gonna go global with that even too. So we have big things coming, and big things have been happening. Charlie was just one of the bigger pushes that emphasized on how important it is for this generation to come back to God.
There's such a strong, stark difference, Bo, between the way that American people will talk openly and unapologetically about being Christians, and the way that British people, even if they've been raised as a sort of cultural Christian, they are embarrassed about maybe a feeling of spirituality that they might experience, or there's a bashfulness about religion in the UK, and it comes also from our leaders. You have very prominently, openly Christian presidents repeatedly. We don't have that in the UK. And I wonder what the movement will be in the UK. Like, what will it take to bring more people to this particular culture? Like, will it be a celebrity, somebody famous who maybe says, I am also a Christian? I don't know, it's difficult to articulate what I mean by this, but how does this momentum continue? What will it take?
I think it just takes a revival like we're having here in the U.S., and I've seen it. I mean, there have been massive groups of people and prayer vigils in the UK, particularly around Charlie Kirk. But I was even just invited, you know, to a massive gathering in in the UK, and it happened to be the day after Charlie's life was taken. So that was huge, and there's been hundreds of thousands in the streets of the UK. I think you guys are on the track for it now. The generations there are ready for a change, and you know, networks like yourselves putting this stuff out there. I mean, it's an information war, it's a spiritual war, but it takes the masses. It takes the masses to agree and take charge, and people to get active, and that's exactly what's happening all around the world now, because you know, Charlie pushed a lot of that, and it planted a seed in a lot of people's minds.
Bo, great to talk to you again. Thank you so much. Bo Loudon there, Gen Z influencer in Florida. My panelists